Welcome to Transaction Review and Calculator Practice, where we go over owner financing and note deals with actual calculator practice so that you get comfortable with the concepts and how we figure this stuff out. So once you understand that financial calculator, boy, you're going to feel so smart and you're going to be able to create a lot of solutions. So hey, Richard, great to have you on the call. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking this question.
Yeah. So tell us, give us the background on this. So you're a real estate guy in Phoenix, Tucson area. I can't remember. Is it Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix.
And
this is a deal that I got through in the usual way, through a friend of somebody who knew somebody, of a third cousin, one of those things.
Right.
And so I just wrote him an offer. I mean, I don't have a whole bunch of money, and the house needs a lot of work.
Right.
So I'm going to sit on my money because I'm going to have to put it into the house. So I just wrote him an offer, a first and a second. They need some money in the deal in order to pay off an existing first, because I don't like to have firsts on there that are going to call. I know a lot of folks are okay with it. I'm not. So I'm going to bring in a private investor and I'm going to sign for the loan to buy it, and then I'm going to have the owner carry the second.
Okay, give us some real numbers. Do you mind? It just helps me get my head wrapped around it. So what's the deal? How much is this property worth?
Okay, it's 164 is the offer. It's about one, as is. It's between. I mean, I'm basically offering market. I mean, it's about 165 to 170. Fixed up, it's like 190 to 200.
Okay, so ARV, after repair value, let's just say 200 to be a nice round number. So 200, and you're offering, and how much? What are you offering?
164. We agreed on 164.
So basically, that's better than 75%. Okay, they're getting a great deal if this is a fixer upper, right? Okay, so all right, so you're in it at 164, and
right.
And what's the underlying? What do we have on the underlying?
The underlying is a 73,000, 74,000, something like that.
Fantastic.
Loan that I'm going to take out. I'm going to take that out with a new first of 114.8.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be 70% of the
And then
purchase.
you got, is the seller carrying a 49.2 second?
Yes, seller's carrying a 49.2 second.
So you have zero down.
Zero down.
Okay, phenomenal for a buyer. Okay, and so then you've got this 114. Let me get back to that number.
114.8.
And that's going to take out their, okay, so mine is 74,000. Is this how you're putting cash in their pocket?
Yes.
So they're going to walk away with 40,008 minus closing costs.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So then plus the note, and what are the terms on that note? Did we say it was 49.2? What are the terms on, what's the terms on that note? 30 Okay. And interest rate?
2%.
Nice. That is quite a rate for a second. Phenomenal. So the monthly payment is, are you 181.85?
Well, I'm going to pay him 300. I'm under contract, and this is where the question becomes. I'm going to pay them 300.
Okay.
A month. So I'm accelerating the principal buy down on that second.
Right. And due in 60 So let's see what the balloon is going to be. Balloon's going to be 35.5 basically at that point.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, sir. Now where do we go?
114.8 is at 8%.
Mm-hmm.
30 doing 5.
And it's just private investor, right? Oops.
Correct.
114, shoot, 8?
8.
Right. 8%. Is this interest only?
No, 30 doing 5.
Same thing. Okay, fantastic. 360. For anyone who's new, I'm putting in months here for N for term. Have to bring that back to 0. The future value is 0 just to get the correct monthly payment. And then I come back and stick in the balloon like this. And we figure out what that balloon's going to be. So basically, you're in it, besides taxes, insurance, in utilities, you're in it for 8 plus 300, 1142 a month.
Correct.
Okay, now you're trying to figure out your blended yield, aren't you?
Right. Now, the way I did it, and you're going to laugh.
No, I'm not.
And then next time you see me at a convention, you're going to smack me. But
okay.
The way I did it was I arrived at the balloons at the end of 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I took both balloons and then calculated based on my payment what interest rate would give me, in other words, at $11.42 a month,
mm-hmm.
for a loan of $164,000.
Okay, 1142. I'm gonna just put it in because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a simple person. So let's just figure out your cash out of pocket, and I think we'll figure it out. I think we'll get there. So you have to put out $11.42 a month. You have 0 money up front, not even closing costs.
No.
Okay, phenomenal. Okay. Okay, you're getting paid to do this. Okay, how much are you getting paid?
Well, I gave him a discount. I'm only getting paid 2%.
Okay, but how great is this? Okay, all right. So, how much fix up are you gonna have to come out of pocket? 164 plus what?
Well, it's a 1973 house in Phoenix. And the sun has beat it up. I got to do a roof, and I got to do the kitchen and the bath. So I'm figuring, at least 20 grand.
Oh, that's light. That sounds light. But if you can do it for that, that's excellent, right? So you're going to be in it at 184, and then you're going to sell it. You're going to list it. I mean, what's the objective? What's your exit strategy? Are you holding it for a whole 5 years, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, I want to keep it to 5 years, and then get my pop down there at the end.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so then we'll assume you paid 1142, and you paid negative money. All right, let's keep talking. So at the end, your balloon, you remember the numbers, right? Add the 2 balloon. What would it was, a 35,000-ish?
How I entered it was 1142 for a payment, 164 for PV.
No, it's less by what's 2%? What is your real end cost? What are you? No, but you're not in it for anything. You can't even count that.
Right. So it's
it's infinity basically. So let's don't put that number in. Yeah, I don't know. 2% is what? You're 16, 3,000, 3,200, 3,300.
I got 3 grand.
Okay, so minus 3,000. Let's just pretend that you invested that, but you really didn't. Basically, it turns a lot better than that. So anyhow, and then what's this future value at 5 years?
144. 144. I think it was 144,613.
That's what you're paying, but what are you going to net? I mean, what's your projections? Because that's what really, because here's the thing, you have none of this. You have no present value. You have zero money in the deal. You have less than zero money in the deal. You have 3,000. I want to see if it'll even do this. Okay, you have this money coming into your pocket. You have that money going out of your pocket, and what are you going to get at the end of 5 years? So what we got to do is figure, what do you think your net profit's going to be minus the balloons you have to pay off? That's how we're going to figure this out. So what are you going to sell it for? What's your projections?
I just wanted to know what the blended rate was. I have no idea as far as the profit, because who knows where the market's going to be in 5 years. I mean, that's another election. 5 years from now, that's a whole nother election.
But if you're in it, let's just pretend 184 and you make $20,000 at the end. That would be kind of conservative if things keep going the way, right?
Yeah, 204 fixed up, and it's 190 fixed up now,
and then some appreciation,
inflation. So, I mean, figuring that I'll make less than 10% error. Yeah. See.
Yeah, it doesn't like this. It doesn't. You didn't invest anything in it. It's like, no, that doesn't happen. You know.
Well,
look at that percent.
I ended up with 6.03.
Sorry?
I ended up with 6.03.
Okay, so what's that balloon that you're going to pay off? Let me just see if I can get your numbers. 144 what?
Okay, 144 613.
So that's your balloon on first and second if it goes full term. You're paying this much. You've got 100% loan to value. I mean, your blended rate is, 6.34, but your actual return on investment, in the meantime, you're renting it out. I mean, what's the deal? Right. And what's the rents?
$1,250.
So you're going negative to carry it. Right? You get in 1,250. Huh?
What I entered in trying to figure this, I entered for PV, I entered 164, 1142, 144, 613. I entered, okay, I don't know how you got to that, but I entered 360 for N, and it gave me 6.19 interest per year.
Well, the thing is, we have 60 payments of this, then a balloon of this. So I already have it in the system, right? Because it's a 5-year call. But the point, kind of just stepping back from the minutia just a little bit, like if we have to use the financial calculator too much to figure out if we're making a good deal or not, we could get caught in a bad one. Because, sometimes the best deals are like, you don't even need a calculator to figure out if you're going to make money on it. So I know this is sort of a academic, and I know how to use these 5 buttons and a couple other little things, but I'm not going to be, the most academic person that can show you how to do internal rate of return. The guys that made this app are smart as a whip, and they would probably help answer your question if there's a way to figure this better than we just did it. But what I would just ask you to step back and look at, what am I going to make? Because if you're going to be in it at 184 after rehab, and you got to figure out what's your end game, because you're going to rent, you're going to go negative, because 1,250 minus 1,142, that's pretty thin margin. The little I don't know, in my town as a landlord, I got to pay water. That would easily eat up, you know, the difference there, let alone any sort of maintenance issues. So I would just look at, there's got to be a really good reason for you to take on this risk. And in a way, you don't have as much risk, because if something goes south, it's the sellers that are holding that second, you know, if there's a drop, it's going to come out of their side of it. You know, my guess, the best way to create equity is to, you know, they're going to, after they leave this deal, they're going to go, actually, I could use some money now, and they'll want to sell the second and you can pay them what seconds go for, which is at the most 50 cents on the dollar.
That is actually my guess.
Yeah, that's what usually happens. So that's where you create, that's your only point to really creating equity there, right?
To be honest with you, that was kind of what the hook for me was to get into it, was that, and I mean, I'm not necessarily trying to rip these people off, but there is no way that they can sell this property on the market in current condition and walk away really much better. And
so what you're telling me is that they're an unrealistic seller, and it's harder for them to discount the property than it will be to discount the note down the road.
Correct. I'm
Okay,
counting on them needing money in 12 to 18 months. And I'm counting on being at, and I mean, actually, it's part of my plan in a year to give them a call. Just touch base, how's things going, blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way.
So gotcha. So you're basically just trying to play Aikido with them, and instead of fighting them on the price, you're going to say, okay, I'll give you your price, but you know, you got to give me terms. And by the way, down the road, you know, probably I'll get my 50 cents on the dollar. So then you actually have a reasonable amount of equity and profit potential. But if they don't, though, worst case scenario, and they don't, you know, you just aren't. I just want you to look at, you know, is it worth it? Because you got the exposure in terms of, I guess if you get it rented fast enough, right? You're at least covered. You can't lose too much there. But I don't know, just interesting. You know, it brings me to a point where I bought a 15-year partial. It was a 360 note, and I bought the first 15 years, and we're 5 years into it, and now they want to sell the other part, and I'm the only buyer for the note, and I can't pay them very much because the payment stream doesn't even begin for another 11 years, but they just want to be done with it. So it's like having an option on the property, in a way, an option on a future play. What you need to be able to do, obviously, Richard, is like, okay, I'm helping solve an imminent problem that my seller has, and can, you know, whatever my nothing wrong with making a profit, but as long as you've worked it out to where there's no ethical conflicts within yourself, then it's golden. It's whatever everyone agrees to, right?
Right.
Right. So it's not like you're lying to them or whatever. They'll have the right to accept or decline your offer to buy their note down the road. And if it goes south, really, your private money guy's fine. You're not going to be out too much money because you'll have the renter covering the basic nut. So it's kind of hey, it kind of carries itself, and there might be a future play here that's reasonably attractive for me to take the risk and do all this business.